Bucks a ticket to see Integrity.
Quiet on the set, please. Quiet on the set, ladies and gentlemen. We are going live in 5. Hold your applause. 4, 3.
It's Argus Hamilton's Comedy Store tonight. With tonight's guests from Showtime and Workaholics, Erik Griffin. Comedy Store legend Martin Moreno. And now, live from the bowels of the world's greatest comedy club, it's Argus Hamilton's Comedy Store tonight. Here's Argus Hamilton!
Hey, thank you all! Thank you all! Welcome to the show! Welcome to the Argus Hamilton's Comedy Store tonight. I want to first of all thank our studio audience for showing up. Thank you for making it indoors tonight. I mean, in Los Angeles right now, it is blowing. And it's windy. It's always an interest of mine. You know, I was born in Oklahoma, so my birthstone is crystal meth. And speaking of my other old vice, it's been a long time. Cambridge University just came out with a study on the effect of beer drinking on a man's lifespan. This happened just on Tuesday. They found that for every beer you drink, it subtracts 9 minutes from your life. Thus, according to my calculations, I died sometime in September of 1843. Also here in California this week, seismologists, the state seismologists announced that California is now in an earthquake drought. They said we haven't had a big one in 9 years. And it's no secret why. I mean, with the high taxes, high cost of living, and regulations, even the earthquakes are moving back to Oklahoma. In other news, Jussie Smollett missed his deadline to pay the $130,000 he owes the city of Chicago to reimburse the city for the investigation. It's no problem, though. He says he had the money, but he got robbed by 2 white guys on his way to pay the fine. But Chicago, it was interesting this weekend. Chicago had their first warm weekend in 5 months. I mean, it was so warm in Chicago, this time R. Kelly peed in the pool. Naturally from the high dive. No, the warm weather had a bad effect, though, in their first warm weekend in Chicago. 28 people were shot and wounded in Chicago over the weekend. Wounded. You know, it's still spring training. They'll be able to hit the bullseye by July or August, just like baseball. Meanwhile, this was scary news for guys. Apotex, a big pharmaceutical company, announced they're recalling this month millions of birth control pills because of faulty packaging. It may not work. So you know what this means. Another season of Maury Povich. By the way, did you hear the college admission scandal has spread, this time to West Virginia University? That's right. A West Virginia alum bribed the dean with 2 packs of Marlboros and a $46 gift certificate from Applebee's to get his daughter in. Meanwhile, back to the political arena, former President Obama gave a nice pep talk to Democrats on Sunday, and he advised the Democratic presidential candidates to move to the center. And immediately, Joe Biden started grabbing him by the small of the back. I don't know if you heard the news, but Joe Biden got 5 more female accusers today. Yeah, any more and he'll start attracting Trump supporters. Yeah, the California Water Resources Board announced that thanks to the rainfall we enjoyed here in Los Angeles and California, that the snowpack in California is now 160% of its normal packing. And that's great news. If the Sierra Mountains were any whiter, they'd be wearing MAGA hats. But President Trump did start firing people again this week. The Director of Homeland Security and the head of the Secret Service. There's only 2 cabinet members left unfired. I mean, this is the suspense is riveting. This is the greatest season of The Apprentice ever. Yeah, he fired the Director of Homeland Security, Kirstjen Nielsen, because of the way she was handling things at the border. Yeah, apparently the cages were too comfortable. Yeah, well, health care is going to be a big major issue, they're declaring in the 2020 race, you know, and Americans are bewildered over this health care thing. You know, we feel, you know, the solution is not Obamacare, the solution is not Trump care. What we want is the Keith Richards plan. You know what it is? Enough hookers and blow and you don't care. Meanwhile, President Trump said he will not attend the White House Correspondents' Dinner. He'd have been safer going to Vietnam. I bring this up because President Trump was in Los Angeles on Friday night for a big fundraiser in Beverly Hills. And it happened to be on Elm Street and Sunset. You know, Elm Street is where the Menendez brothers killed their parents. It's also where Freddy Krueger lived. I mean, this is the 3rd nightmare on Elm Street in 30 years. And more interesting is that Elm Street and Sunset is right on my nightly jogging route through Beverly Hills. It is. And on Friday night when I got to near the security perimeter, a guy jumped out of the bushes, put a gun to the back of my head and said, "Are you voting Democrat or Republican?" I said, "Just pull the damn trigger." Hey, we've got a great show and a fantastic crowd tonight. We've got you, the viewer. Stay tuned for Erik Griffin and Martin Moreno. We got a great show. I'm Argus Hamilton. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the Comedy Store. Tonight starring Argus Hamilton, and now we have this commercial bulletin I've just now been handed. Argus Hamilton for Argus Hamilton. My name is Argus Hamilton, and I am here to tell you that I, Argus Hamilton, have some important information about Argus Hamilton that can improve your daily life. Did you know that important information about Argus Hamilton that can save your daily life? You know, I just read that. Guess what? Stupid I am both, and let me tell you, when I found out, it was like a great weight lifted off my shoulders. Where did this weight go? I don't know. Probably on some other guy's shoulders who isn't Argus Hamilton. And you know what? Screw that guy. Screw that guy right in his ear. Argus Hamilton in the springtime, Argus Hamilton in the afternoon, Argus Hamilton on the beach, Argus Hamilton fetching peaches to you, dog, while you are away on vacation. You like Argus Hamilton? I know I do. I would not recommend Argus Hamilton unless I, Argus Hamilton myself, full Argus. My brother, Gus Hamilton, is not to be trusted. He's not a real Hamilton like me. Argus Hamilton, he's a Hamilton. Gus is like me, Argus, but also a bitch-ass beta whose wife sleeps with everyone in town. I'm Argus Hamilton, and I can say anything I want, whenever I want, because this is my show. For Argus Hamilton, I'm Argus James Hamilton III. Everyone else can just piss off. I want to thank our new sponsor, Argus Hamilton. Okay, I want to thank our first guest for enduring this torture with me. Because I know deep down he knows what I was going through in this dim lighting and dimmer script. Because he's been there, and he's surmounted all of this to do Showtime specials, to be the star of the TV show that was on Showtime that was essentially about the Comedy Store in the late 70s called I'm Dying Up Here. And he just kills me. We work in the main room all the time, in the main room here at the Comedy Store. You've seen him on Workaholics and Comedy Central. Let's give it up for a funny man, Erik Griffin, ladies and gentlemen.
That was your ad?
Oh, man.
I see why the budget is.
Oh, man. That cost me $15.
Yeah, it costs you money to read that ad, right?
Next time, I promise to rehearse. You know, you...
Talk to me.
You are famous for observational comedy. And
I didn't know that.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
You had to go to the glasses.
You like, you know, dating shows like Teen Mom and what's the other one? What's the other one that you like? Come on.
Oh, you mean what is the one I like? I don't know. I like a lot of them. I like 90 Day Fiancé. That's one of my favorites.
No, fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, Catfish?
Catfish. The fishing network. I'm a baby boomer.
You've never been catfished?
No, no.
You don't online
I don't
date?
open any envelopes. I don't open anything. It's never good news if it's a phone call or an email. It's never good news.
So how do people get in contact with you?
They don't. If I need them, I'll call them. Haven't you ever been with a narcissistic wasp before?
No, I have not. I think that's why your agent dropped you.
No. You can reach me at the club.
Yeah, I like catfish.
Yeah, tell me about catfish.
You know what catfish is?
I've heard you know about it.
Yeah, but you have no idea?
It has something to do with scamming somebody by email.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so catfish is not by email, but like on like different apps. You know what I mean?
Oh, different apps.
Yeah, like people can be online chatting. So usually it's about fat girls. Okay.
Huh?
Yes. Wait, nobody here has seen the show? I'm just saying like 80% of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. It's usually like a fat girl. She's
Yeah.
taking the picture of like a model.
Yeah.
And then lied to an idiot on the internet.
Yeah. Who deserves it?
For like 2 years. Right, he does deserve it. Because how are you getting catfish in 2019? It should last for like 13 seconds, right? You know,
Yeah.
13 minutes tops it should last. And then after that, you're like, hey, get on this webcam, you know. You know, get or like a webcam or a Skype, FaceTime, Google Talk, or stand behind my car because it's got a reverse cam. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, everything's got a camera. You know? I'm surprised you. I would love to see you on like Bumble or something like that. You've never been on a dating app at all.
No. I don't have time to date. You know,
because you're here all the time.
That's right. No, I just go for women who won't talk to me. And I say that. You know who you are.
You're dating everybody.
I'm dating around. I used to look at women and say, you know, oh, how nice it would be to be with her.
Right.
Now I look at a woman and say, how much trouble would this one be to break up with?
Wait, are you a heartbreaker?
The old days, it's just bad.
I bet you
attention span. I don't have much of an attention span.
I bet you were a monster back in the day, son.
Anytime.
Have you ever been worried about
anytime Mitzi would leave the doggy door unlocked?
Well, I want to know. Did you ever think that somebody was going to walk up here and be like, "Dad"? You know, did you?
No, because in the 70s, the birth control pill worked. Nobody got pregnant. Why do you think there's no Gen Xers? I mean, there's only like 40 million of them. It's because we took care to sleep around carefully. You had condoms, birth control pills, cocaine, Quaaludes. Your whole kit was all set for the night. With the right combination, she didn't even remember your name, much less able to track you down.
Now all I can think about is you.
That's right. My
and no condom either.
No. My Uncle Wayne told me back when I was at the University of Oklahoma, he had every woman between Lubbock, Texas, and Texarkana, Louisiana, between 1950 and 1970. He said, son, if you'll just listen to any woman for 3 straight hours, she'll go to bed with you.
3 hours?
Yeah, no one's been able to do it.
Who's got that kind of time?
This is not...
Imagine having to do that for 3 hours for like 12 minutes of fun.
It basically goes, that's terrible, that's awful, that's interesting. I think your mother's jealous of you. That's all you think.
Yeah. I mean, you've been back in...
you hear that hiss, you know it works.
Yeah, is you dating anybody?
No.
So when's the last time you went out on a solid date, like honestly?
I went to Dantana's with a date a year ago, June.
Oh, a year ago?
June, yeah. Yeah.
How did that go?
Fantastic. I love Dantana's.
She's still there.
I don't know. Who cares? Everybody at the bar recognized me. What else do I have? It's like cheers. They're like, Argus! Yeah, and these are guys from the old days. I mean, they
I feel you, man.
They still do it.
Well, I don't do dating apps anymore.
What do you do?
You know, I tried. It's just because I don't know. It's like I feel like I feel old now because I don't understand how people are they're okay with being inconsiderate with how they talk on the phone.
Really?
You know? Yeah, like I feel like women will ask you a question and then throw their phone across the room. You know what I mean? Like, hey, what time's the movie? And then boom. And then for me, I'm right away. I'm like 7.
Yeah.
It's at 7. And then hello. And then like 10 minutes later, they come back. They text you something like, "Calm down." I'm not on my phone 24/7. That's what someone just told me that. They're not on their phone 24/7.
Liar.
You just get back. Yeah, because then I'm on their Instagram story.
They're just talking to other guys.
Yeah. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
Do you have an Instagram story? I would love to see your Instagram story.
No. Lauren Taines, who's my producer, puts all my Instagram out. And
so you're never just on Instagram yourself, like going through?
No, I'm on Facebook trying out jokes for my 4,000 friends. And they'll tell me if something's going to work that night at the Comedy Store. So I use them in the afternoon.
That's your writing process? You go on Facebook and talk to those people?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I have a tremendous number of great friends around the country, fraternity brothers back at Oklahoma and old college friends from Greek Row at OU, and they're very, very sharp. And they'll tell me if a joke works.
Really?
They'll let me know. I also have to write 13 jokes a day for a bunch of newspapers, and those are the jokes I try. And if I get more than 40 likes, it'll work at the Comedy Store.
Oh, well, your whole Facebook people don't. They need to get a piece of the money. They don't even know that you're.
Mum's the word.
Yeah. So the 39th like, though, like if you're the 39th like, you'd be the next guy should be like, well, that's gonna work tonight.
But if it's about drugs, race, or sex, it'll work. Yeah, that's what millennials get.
You're not millennials.
Yeah, they get it. I connect with
That's
millennials.
never changed though. You connect with millennials.
I connect with millennials. They love it. I am their Uncle Argus Lord Hamilton, buddy. I teach him how to.
You know what? I heard a millennial just the other day. You know what? I want to know who somebody thinks Argus Hamilton.
Okay? You show up at 9:30 when I go off stage, and they follow me into the hallway, and I sign their books and I sign their jerseys, and they say, "Man, we love you."
Their jerseys.
Yeah, exactly. They buy Comedy Store jerseys.
Oh, I thought you had like an Argus Hamilton jersey.
Number one. No,
Did you play sports at all? I'm just curious.
golf, of course.
Oh, that's not
Episcopalian.
what a white guy thing to say. Like playing golf.
This is a Masters week. This is a Protestant blasphemy you just committed.
You don't know I'm Protestant, goddammit.
I don't go to Canner's and yell at your food. You just lay off a golf.
I was really glad. You know, by the way, I was sad that the show got canceled. You know, we got canceled, but I was glad that you were a consultant on the show.
Well, they asked me about it. I think Tom Dreesen did more work in that direction.
You can't talk.
What they did, they used the book, I'm Dying Up Here. This was about...
Yeah, but loosely. It was more about Jim Carrey's stories himself. But they did talk to you, right? They did ask you some things.
Jim talked to me a bit.
Yeah, because he was like into it in the beginning of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did have Tom Dreesen. But have you know Tom well?
Very well. He's a great gentleman. I think he's our generation, or an older generation's Bob Hope. He does the troop thing. He's just fantastic.
But you can't talk to you know what's a good drinking game is every time he brings up Frank Sinatra.
Wow! I would lose my sobriety. Man,
like you can't talk to Tom without him being like, "It's on me and Frank." You know?
Yeah. And he just said Sinatra for you. Okay, it's always Frank.
Yeah.
Frank.
He actually did a one-man show about Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I saw it advertised. I saw him post about it.
That's why you don't leave the Comedy Store, so you wouldn't go to shows.
Nope. No.
You go to Dante's and then you go to Downtowners.
I don't go east of La Brea. Anymore, I have to wear a pith helmet and ride an elephant and hope they don't spit at me.
You don't go east of La Brea.
Well,
I'm surprised you're not going to move they're building these apartments over here. I'm so seeing you build. What is it?
We got to get you upstairs to your shows. That's what we got.
Oh, we got to go. That's right. Anyways, I have a podcast myself.
What's it called? Riffin' with Griffin.
It's called Riffin' with Griffin.
And I hear it's doing great. They told me out in the parking lot.
It's all right. They told you in the parking lot? Oh, wow.
The comedians did. The comedians said you...
Wait, this is where all the news came. The parking lot and your Facebook. That's where...
Well, I seem to know it. It's a pretty knowledgeable place.
Actually, I need to go on your Facebook and ask them, is my podcast doing well? If I get to 40...
I've got my own House of Lords to consult, man. We'll back you up.
I gotta check all my jokes on Argus Hamilton. Maybe you should start your own website for that. You know,
that's what we're doing.
The joke checker.
Lauren Taines is going to start a a fan page and then my own YouTube channel to have people watch me write these jokes during the day.
Oh wow! Is that going to be like unboxing?
What does that mean?
Well, these kids make millions of dollars just opening up toys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just unbox toys and they make a bunch of money. Oh. I would love that. if you were unboxing like old guy stuff, you know what I mean? This is it, man. I'm telling you, I'm coining it right now.
It's all yours.
Yeah, no, you should. This is all. You should do that. I like that. So you're going to just be writing the jokes and the camera's going to be on.
Yeah,
you?
Exactly.
That you know what? That's actually fascinating.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
I'm into earwax.
Lauren Taines is setting it all up, and as we gather sponsors on the show and we gather momentum, we will. We'll wind up having a really successful show because we have such a great timing here.
I think you should call it like the 40.
The 40?
Yeah, because it's like if you get 40 likes. You know what I mean?
Good idea.
Yeah, that's the standard right there.
What was it I once heard, that Facebook is a lot like sitting in prison? You know,
Why is that?
You spend a lot of time alone, you write on walls, and you get poked by people you don't know every night.
See, they're not laughing as much because they don't poke anymore. Yeah, poke's not a thing anymore. People wave now.
Oh, why?
Yeah, it's a little button you press and you wave at people now.
Is it because of the STDs or something?
Yeah, you can't even electronically touch anybody.
Erik Griffin, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful. This was fun. I hope you're having as much fun as we are, folks. We'll be right back. Thank you so much.
Going to commercial?
Welcome back. Welcome back to Argus Hamilton Comedy Store tonight. And we just had a ball with Erik Griffin. Quick commercial word right now for our viewers. One of our regular sponsors was a longtime confidant, the great Mitzi Shore, who I'll talk about a little more at the end of the show tonight. But he was a stand-up comedian at the Comedy Store, opened on the road for the great Ollie Joe Prater for years and years. And Lou Deck has written a book called Stand Up Decoded. Now, I've talked about this book before, but let me tell you something. Lou Deck was the heart and soul behind Mitzi's, we'll call it her conscience, for 2 or 3 years. He saved a lot of our necks, let's put it that way. And he put all of his experiences and his advice to young comedians. His instructions, teaches you how to write jokes, the attitude to go about on stage, and ways to start out and get moving in your young stand-up comedy career. But like a lot of other great books about stand-up comedy, he can't resist but telling you about some of his own story. And as you see his career evolve, maybe you can see your own. If you'll just Google Stand Up Decoded by Lou Deck, L-U-E-D-E-C-K, Lou Deck. We love him, and you'll get to know him, and so will you. So go on Google and order his book, Stand Up Decoded. All you folks that really are interested in stand-up comedy, but particularly those of you who want to become stand-up comics, this could be your very first step, and that's how every journey begins. Love you, Lou. Thank you. All right. Okay, now this is a real kick because I've heard about this comic and heard about him, and this is the first time I get to meet him, as a lot of you will right now, because I've heard tremendous things about him. But he's a national headliner, and he came up with the sensationally talented Gabriel Iglesias. And he's got a podcast that's very successful. As a matter of fact, I hope we can get some of his followers too. It's called Yo, Yo, Yo. And ladies and gentlemen, he's a funny man. His name is Martin Moreno. Let him have it. Nice to have you here, Martin.
Thank you for having me. It is.
Are you enjoying the Comedy Store?
Dude, fantastic. You guys have an amazing scene going on right here. Congratulations. And congratulations on your freaking show, bro. This is freaking great. Look at your audience.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm saying freaking. You could say fucking, right?
Yeah.
All right, fantastic.
You can say it.
The suit intimidated me. You know, I feel like I can't cuss. This dude's too dressed up.
All of a sudden I look Republican too.
Oh, like a motherfucker.
Yeah, we just fired one director of Homeland Security. Now I'm auditioning.
I got your back.
You bet. I'm with you, man.
Oh man, so tell me, where do you perform?
Dude, all over the country. I've been all over the world. I was fortunate enough to travel with Gabriel Iglesias for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And we went to, all over Europe, Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, Australia, Asia. You know.
And for our viewers and our regular comedy people here, Gabriel Iglesias, he is Forbes rich. I mean,
He's Forbes rich, 100%. Yes, he's on that Forbes. I'm not Gabriel Iglesias rich. I'm opener rich. if that's a thing.
Johnny Witherspoon used to call it, I'm a thousandaire.
Yeah, 100%. But no, I was very fortunate. I got to see the whole world. For the last couple of years, I've been working with my son, who's also a comedian, Martin Moreno. We started a podcast called the Yo Podcast.
Yeah.
And if you listen to it, don't expect to hear any groundbreaking shit. You know, like Rogan will have scientists on his podcast. You listen to NPR, you're going to learn about stem cells. You listen to the Yo Podcast, you're going to hear us talking about eating ass and shaving our balls. Which are also very important conversations to have, right? But it's not anything it's entertaining. It's a father and son relationship that's very unorthodox. If
It
you
sounds
will.
like it already.
It really is, but it's it's crazy because people have this expectation about what a father and a son relationship should be.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's bullshit. You know, like these parents try to act like they've never sniffed coke, they've never had unprotected sex, they've never gotten in trouble, they're
Or never not
100%
done that.
Or and the truth is, nah, dude, this is all my fuck ups. Try not to do them, and you just become transparent because if you don't, they know that you're bullshitting, and there could never be a real relationship there.
Wow.
And so that's the kind of relationship I have. I had to do that.
How did you get to the shaving the balls part with your son?
We just ended up talking about random stuff, and I was talking about how one time I was shaving my balls, and I was using this thing called coochie cream, or I think it was coochie cream that I got at the
Coochie
section.
cream.
Dude, it was so smooth. It was like no bumps, no nothing. It was fantastic. I wasn't afraid of putting the razor down there. It's like if anybody ever shaves down there, you do some manscaping, try coochie cream. And they don't pay me. They should, those motherfuckers.
We got another sponsor. Coochie cream. Mike Smith, coochie cream.
It's a very ADD podcast. We just end up on different, but at the end of the day, it's fun. People like it, and we're really fortunate for that.
Yeah.
So we're doing shows all over the place. I mean, if you go to martinmoreno.com, you can see our tour schedule. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and try to plug everything one by one. No. But I just started a band.
Really?
Punk metal. You look like you like the punk metal.
Yeah, that's me. I'm down with the struggle.
Dude.
Is that the wrong genre?
No, that's the same shit, brother. I feel your pain, sir.
I'm Benny Goodman.
So when I was in high school, I had a fake band, right?
A fake band?
A fake, 100% fake. We made it up. We were Slaughter before there was a real Slaughter. It was the early '80s, and it was like metal was king, and me and my friends all wanted to be in a band, but we couldn't afford instruments. We were broke kids from the hood, right? And so we created lyrics, we created a logo, we created a title. We had fans, we had groupies. We would go to parties. People would say, "Hey, those are the guys from Slaughter," but
before social media.
Before social media. Oh, if we would have had social media, my God, we would have been the Milli Vanilli of our era, bro. Years go by, and like I said, we go to parties, people say, those are the guys from Slaughter, blah, blah. Years go by, and I start talking about because now podcasting is just everywhere, right? Yeah. So I went on my good friend Felipe Esparza, who has a What's Up Fool podcast, and I went on his podcast, started talking about the band, Well, he brought it up because I told him before.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm going to shows and people are like, "When's Slaughter getting back together?" they're like, "Yeah, Slaughter." And then I was doing a show and a couple of the guys that were in my fake band were there. They were taking pictures, bro. They were doing a meet and greet. People, they were signing autographs, and I'm like, the hell am I doing? So I got together with a very talented bass player named James Callahan, and we started working on some songs. We got a lockout. We started working on some songs, and then I called my friend Paris Hobbs, who's a very talented guitar player. He's been playing. We went to high school at the same time, and we knew each other. We'd party together, and I hit him up. He'd never stopped playing. Super talented. He plays death metal, black metal. He's just a great, talented dude. And I said, "Hey, bro, we're doing this little project. I don't know if you want to come hang out." He came and hung out. And then Tanya Strada, a comedian as well. She's always on the Fraser Smith show on KLOS. She plays guitar, so she started doing rhythm guitar.
Right.
Then we got a drummer named Shayna, who is just a talent. She's a beast on the drums. And we put together a set, and
we call it Slaughter.
We called it Slaughter before Slaughter because there's already and we changed the spelling, Slautter, and so got the lockout. We got a tour van.
So
this is like Slaughter all over again.
You changed the spelling.
Yes.
So the first band wouldn't sue.
Correct, 100%. And so we got a record deal.
Yeah, really?
We got a record deal. We're recording our record this summer. Now it's for real. It sounds like I'm making the shit up, but it's real this time.
Well, you kind of fooled us that first time.
No, we just did our first show over in Long Beach this last weekend. We recorded. It was our first show ever. We recorded it. We had a sound tech guy there, and it just went up, as a matter of fact, tonight. It's called Live from Harvell's Fuck Ups and All. And trust me, there's a lot of fuck ups, but we put it up anyway.
That's what we do here.
That's the way to do it, bro. Everybody else is editing, cleaning it up. No way does everybody look that pretty, but on the pictures, everybody's all cleaned up. Fuck it. It's raw. It's out there. We got songs like Thoughts and Prayers.
Well, that's right. Wait a minute.
I'm the lead screamer.
You're a religion guy, though.
I'm not a religious guy.
No, you.
I was a religious guy, and now I've seen the light. I've been resaved. but yeah, it's very so we have a song called Beer Belly Jesus, which the first time we did an acoustic set, and when we performed it, when we got to Beer Belly Jesus, we walked like maybe a quarter of the room, and I said, "Fuck, we got to open with this fucking song. This is how do we not?
Beer Belly Jesus,
dude, walked on water with no floaties. Someone give Jesus a beer. We're just talking about all the things that he did. Somebody should have given him a fucking beer. The dude had abs when he got crucified. That's fine. I still had time to do abs. Still had time to do his hair. After all that, when he was saving hookers from getting stoned by assholes who caught them fucking, right? And dude, the dude looked amazing. And I'm just saying, I would have asked for beers before I performed any miracles. And there's no way I would have had abs when they crucified me, and everybody be praying to Beer Belly Jesus. And that offended some people, and I'm like, this is just a what if, kind of like the real Bible,
Yeah. That sounds great.
So it's up there, right?
I like to think you could hang out with Jesus now.
Oh, I think, dude, I've been on like maybe 250 milligrams, and I've flown with the dude. We talked. He told me don't believe the bullshit. And, he told me the real message. I'm starting my own church at some point. So yeah.
How are the shrooms?
Oh, dude, I love them. If you want to have a spiritual experience, there's nothing like shrooms, unless you can get a hold of the old LSD. But yeah. If you guys want to check it out, go to martinmoreno.com. All the links are right there. The music is there, and then the record comes out at the end of the summer, bro. I'll have music on one side of the record, and on the other side will be some comedy.
Well, now, how often do you perform during the week now with your show?
I'm performing, with the music or with comedy?
With comedy.
And every chance I get. Okay. If I can get up to 5 times a week, I'll get up to 5 times a week.
What do you like to talk about now?
Now I'm talking about how I worked with Gabe, like I said, for a long time. His set is extremely clean. The families come out. They love him. He's one of the only comics that you can bring your grandmother, your grandkids, and your children to. Nobody will be offended, right?
Yeah.
My show is not like that. Like, you know,
They have to sit through you to hear him, though.
But I mean, I used to clean it up when I worked with him.
Okay.
So right now I'm doing a lot of shows. I'll actually work with him tomorrow. We're working over in Pasadena. It's another club, so I won't plug the club. But
You can. Where are you playing?
we'll be at the Ice House tomorrow
Okay.
night. And so he's celebrating his, I think it's 22 years of comedy, and so I'll be out there.
That's a great room, too.
Great room, fantastic room. But what I'm talking about now is like, you know, how everything that I heard growing up was bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, how like every time they tell you honor your parents, whatever your mom and your dad say to you, that's what you should do.
Yeah.
If I lived my life that way, people would be marching outside protesting my entire life. Because my parents were old school Latino religious people. Well, my mom was, you know, extremely homophobic,
Yeah.
extremely misogynistic. You know, my sisters were expected to serve me my food.
Really?
If I was hungry, 100%. And I didn't stand up and fight for their equal rights. I'm like, hey, fucking get my sandwich.
I'd go east of La Brea for that.
You know what I mean? So you know, I talk about, you know, you know what I open up with, bro? Coming on faces.
Really?
Yeah. So, well, what I say is that we're all miracles.
Yeah.
Like, everybody here is a miracle. You're a miracle. You're a miracle. You're a miracle. Because we could have ended up on our mother's face, on her back, on her ass. But praise God for our dad busting a nut and our moms so that we could be here with Argus Hamilton tonight, motherfuckers, all right? That's a miracle. And if that's not a miracle, I don't know what is. That's a Satarakata Shanda moment, guys.
What did she say at that moment?
Well,
That's another swallow that'll never make it back to Capistrano.
Yeah, so I'm talking about things that are kind of in your face.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to do that, I swear to God. Now that I'm looking back, I'm like, God, that sounds cheesy and rehearsed, but it's 100% not.
It's great moisturizer, too. I can see.
Oh my God, I just saw a clip today where this woman, like, she's promoting, like, she's got people donating some every day.
Yeah.
And she'll drink some and she'll put some on her face and she attributes it to a healthy immune system and all kinds of things. I mean, she's got a lot of followers. I guess anybody swallowing cum's gonna get a lot of followers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're like, I should open fucking boxes for older
I'm just
dudes.
saying again, that's another swallow that'll never make it back to Capistrano.
Oh my! It took a turn.
It did.
It did.
That's fine.
Fuck it,
That's
fuck
fine.
it. Fuck it. Let's go with it.
Because, you know.
You asked me what I was talking about. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about.
Well, okay.
And then- okay,
Red Fox used to do that. Red
Okay.
Fox, he would walk on stage. He came here one time and about 30 years ago on a dead Monday night in the original room. And Mitzi was just, it was packed, it was sultry, they weren't laughing at any of the new comics. Red Fox walks in, Mitzi says, please go up there and get this crowd going. Red Fox walked right up on stage in the original room. He looked at everybody and said, I'm here tonight to tell you one thing. Wash your ass. Don't just wash your ass whole. The crowd is just beating. Remember, Lou? I mean, the crowd
That's
is
fantastic.
going crazy.
That's fantastic.
It busted it wide open. That's what you do with the
That's what I try
with the
to
squirt
do.
gun routine.
That's what I try to do. You know what? We got a tour bus. Am I getting the? What does that mean?
Nothing.
All right, fuck it. So we got a bus for the band, you know, because we plan on going and doing some shows, and it came from a church.
Really?
It's at St. Nectarius Greek Orthodox Church, and I was like, who the hell is St. Nectarius? Thanks to Google, I found out. Dude was a turn of the century saint, died early 1900s, I want to say. And his first miracle was at death. As soon as he died, they took off his clothes to prepare him for burial. They set his coat down on the bed, on the patient's bed next to his. And the patient that was laying there was a paralyzed man. And when the coat sat there, he immediately started walking.
Wow.
Which is really cool that he didn't freak out that there was dead people shit on his bed, because that might have fucked up his miracle, right? Because I would have been like, whoa, yo, put this shit somewhere else, you monkeys, right? This guy did it, and he started walking, and a fresh scent just filled the room, this aroma that was just so pleasant to the scent. And they said, oh my God, this is a miracle. They buried him in a temporary grave, and they were gonna move him in the spring. It was too cold to take him to a proper burial place. Well, he starts appearing to people in the monastery, like the nuns and shit. And at first they'd freak out, but afterwards they got used to it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, he's back, right? A few months later, they opened up the grave to move him. The lemon flowers that they had buried him with were still blooming.
Wow.
And the guy was entirely preserved, which is a huge miracle. Then they move him, they take him to his new burial place, open him up about a year and a half later, still smells fucking amazing. Still preserved, right?
Is he a perfume by now?
5 years. 5 years. They open it up. Still there, still preserved, still smells like $1 million. 10 years later, $1 million. 20 years later, they waited because they said, fuck it, we know what you're up to. 20 years later, they open it up, and the dude is writing new material. He disappeared. He's not doing the same shit. Disintegrated. People were devastated. Oh my God, where did this is go? This
Saint who?
Nectarius.
Nectarius.
So anyway, they're devastated. This chick's like, oh my God, he's been doing miracles for me. Where'd he go? He appears to her and says, hey, have no fear. I'm out there leaving my remains around the world, appearing to other people. They need themselves some Saint Nectarius as well. But I'll be back here in a few years. You'll be able to see my remains again. So she tells everybody. They open it up again. There's some remains in there. Bro, this time the smell is so strong, like never before. It makes its way down the monastery to the main road where a bus had just broke down and they were changing the tire. There was a woman in the bus of ill repute.
Oh.
Which means she liked to fuck, all right? But they called them women of ill repute back then. They used to fucking throw rocks at them and try to kill them, these fucking assholes. And so she says, what's that smell? They said, oh, that's up at the monastery, St. Nectarius. She goes up there, gets on her knees, prays, and goes out and sins no more.
Wow.
Now that doesn't sound like a miracle to me, Argus.
No?
No. Now, if he would have told her, hey, go out there, fuck, and your pussy will forever smell like lemons, that would have been a fucking miracle, right? So Slaughter, we did one show, we're done with it. It was my high school dream, and 30 years later, my vision board became manifest. We did one show, we put it out there, and now the band has changed its name. We are now known as St. Nectarius. And we're spreading the lemony scent to everybody. If you come listen to us, you'll walk out, your nutsacks, your titties, your pussies, and your assholes will smell like lemons forever and ever. Hallelujah, guys. That's right.
Well, that's a happy ending.
That is a happy ending. Yes.
Happy ending was a pretty good punchline, people.
And dude, that sounds like bullshit. If somebody were to tell you this other, you would say that doesn't sound true. But holy fuck, it's on Google. I did not make this shit up. I guess if it's online, it must be true, right? Yeah.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to hear some more of your adventures. I see you opening for Debbie Boone. And the Doodletown Pipers. And I can't wait to have you back here again. You are a riot. Martin Moreno, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You are a ball.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we'll be right back. I'll be wrapping things up very shortly. Welcome back to Argus Hamilton's Comedy Store tonight. A couple of thank yous and a very important message at the end, so stick around for this. I want to thank our studio audience. You were fantastic tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause. I really appreciate you all. It was just great tonight. Thank you all. And next week we have one of the Waynes is going to be here, Shantae Waynes. niece of a very close friend of mine that I performed here in the 80s with, Damon Wayans, of all the famous Wayans people, and a terrific comedian, a peer of mine, Mark Scheffler, who has a new act called El Yid. He was a writer for the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. He's hilarious. So we got a great show for you next week. But first of all, I want to tell you all two things. First of all, the makers of Bacardi rum are sponsors of this show. And I want all you young people, if you can, I want you to learn how to make a frozen daiquiri and fall in love. Okay? It's a real simple thing. You take 1 canister of frozen concentrate pink lemonade, you put it in the blender. You take that empty canister, you pour delicious Bacardi rum in that canister. You pour that in the blender, take 2 glasses of water, pour that in the blender, mix it all up, and you have yourself a slush from heaven that any woman is going to love, guys. Okay? Trust me, Alpha Tau Omega social chairman for 5 years. When everybody else just had to go 4 years. At the University of Oklahoma, which is a certified Betty Ford preschool. So here's what I want you to do. I want you all to go out there, and I want you to rum is a great afternoon drink, no matter how you mix it up with any fruit juice, lime juice. I'm sober 32 and a half years. I can still taste rum. It's just a perfect time for calypso, for music, that Caribbean feel. Whenever you're in that kind of a mood, Bacardi is the one, not Ron Rico and those dark rums. Bacardi is perfect. So I want you to buy Bacardi rum. Always keep a quart nearby. Especially on Sunday mornings, And finally, and most importantly, I want to two final things. I want to thank Lauren Taines for producing me all this week. She's doing a tremendous job of producing me and promoting me, along with Lucas Martyr, who's publicizing us out on Instagram and all the things that we're doing to promote the show and get some viewers going. So tell your friends about us, and thanks to Lauren and Lucas, and of course to our staff here, especially to Kevin and Josh, and of course Brett and Schmitty, put this show on every week. We really work hard. We're all here for one reason. We're here for one reason. That's because of the great Mitzi Shore, who passed away a year ago Tuesday night. And I won't get to say anything about her because we won't be on until next Tuesday. But she's the reason we're all here. She bought this building in 1976 after leasing part of it for 4 years and turned this into an empire of art, to the great art of stand-up comedy. That's why we're all here. So keep Mitzi in your thoughts this week, because she's, as always, this week has the best seats in the house. I'm Argus Hamilton. Love you. See you next week. Thank you all. Great crowd. Thank you all. Thank you all.